Hey everybody! Oh my goodness. Okay, you guys. I'm trying this on StreamYard. Clearly I don't know what I'm doing because my name's up here twice and I can't figure out how to remove it. You know, don't you love technology? Technology is so great, except when you don't know how to use it. Then it's just awkward. So let's see if I can remove it. But it might just be one of those things where you get to see two names. Let's see. Edit. Nope. Well, you know what? We're just going to go for it. So I am Jillian Floodstrom. Thank you so much for watching this video. As you know, with any live broadcast, there are always hiccups, and I just encountered one. Who knew that LinkedIn had to approve you ahead of time for live? I did not know that. Apparently you do. So I'm going to sort that out. But if you are joining me from Facebook or from YouTube, hello, hi. I wanted to come live because I wanted to talk about what happened on Friday, which if you are not following my social media, make sure that you check me out on Instagram because we launched on Friday, like the whole business, like the thing that we have been working on for the past 2 years is live for the world to see, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And let me tell you that when I first hit like the we're doing it button, terrifying. But it's just kind of like with this live stream, you just have to do things. You just have to try it. It could be a massive zoo. It'll be interesting to watch this video back to see what you guys see. If it was a total zoo or if you saw my super fancy like countdown timer that Rachel made me. Or maybe you saw me awkwardly putting on my lipstick getting ready for this live. I don't know. We'll see. But if you are just joining me, I am a person that just launched my personal brand. I love to talk about helping small business owners, especially women, because I feel that us girls got to stick together. I have a podcast, Scale Your Small Business Podcast, that has actually launched on Friday as well. We have quite a few episodes in the hopper. So if you're looking for content, you can always go back and view the old episodes. There's some good nuggets. So if you are looking for a place to hang out, a place to get some tidbits of knowledge, looking for someone to be your business cheerleader, that's me. I can help you out. So please join me for these lives. I really want to go through with them every week just to kind of check in with everybody. I am going to do one on Friday because the podcast launches on Thursday and people have questions, and how else do you get your questions answered but by DMing me or sending me a message or sending, an email through my website? So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to go live on Fridays and we can talk about any questions that happened from the podcast released the day before. So that's kind of my plan, but it's very fluid, things change. So let's get into talking about the launch and what happened. So if you have already been on my podcast, you know that we lost the websites for a couple days. And I pride myself on being prepared. I'm very meticulous, very detail orientated. I want to make sure that things go as smoothly as possible. But let me tell you that no matter how hard you plan, no matter how hard you think you've got all your ducks in a row, there's things. And there was a couple things. For instance, I tried to upload my YouTube banner, flip-flop, because I wanted to change all my banners so people knew that something was going on, like, surprise, things are different now. However, it didn't fit, and we tested it before. So apparently in the time frame that YouTube, when we tested it from when we launched, which I think was only like a week, they must have changed it, which is awkward because I totally thought that it was going to be okay, and it wasn't, but we got it fixed. And I think that's the main thing that you have to keep in mind when you're launching your business is you have to go for it. At some point in time, you're just going to have to push it out the window and do it and work on it as things happen. I mean, we have been using Infusionsoft. So Jordan is an Infusionsoft wizard. And I just want to say too, before I dive into this part, that you have to find people that get you, that get your vibe, that are able to help you, because there is no way that I could do this without the team of people that help me, because it's just a lot. It's just a lot. I mean, if you have an existing business, if you're trying to start a new business, maybe you're trying to start a side hustle because COVID gave you some surprises that you weren't expecting. And now you're like, okay, I got to find something new to do. And you're out there in the world looking for, something new to focus on. You have to remember that you have to find good people. And it's hard in the beginning because most of the time you don't have any money and you're trying to do it all yourself. But as soon as you can afford to have someone help you, you have to do it, because things like the websites being missing, things like the website being not collating, that's not the right word, but like not fitting into, Firefox versus Chrome versus Safari. I mean, that stuff is like, woo, way over my head. You have to have people that can help you with that, because if you try to do it all yourself, it is the most stressful undertaking, because it's going to be stressful anyways. I mean, I have all these people who are like, listen, I'm here to help you. Like, whatever goes wrong, don't worry, we're going to fix it. Like, the best people. However, it's still super stressful when you're like, okay, gonna hit the button, take a deep breath, we're going for it, let's do this. It's terrifying, but you just adjust afterwards. And so we got a lot of good feedback, a lot of people that were very excited. I had 3 people that messaged me about the podcast. Strangers, you guys, strangers said, I listened to your podcast and I thought it was awesome. I was like, yes, because I think that as someone who is not really on social media a lot, you go into this, with thinking that no one's listening. And part of that actually is good, because it's terrifying that you're like, well, is anybody going to be watching this? So Wade, you're so right. Technology is the new Murphy's Law. You are so right about that. And I encountered it so many different times. So you just have to remember that whatever you're working on, make sure that you get it out there for the world to see, because you're never going to be able to fix these hiccups. You're never going to know what's going to go wrong. I mean, we can plan and, do all the things that we can do, but the reality is you're just going to have to push it out there. And it's hard when you've been working on something for a very long time, like for me, 2 years, and you send it out into the world and you have high hopes that it's going to work. I mean, look at me on StreamYard. I've never used this thing before. I have no clue what I'm doing. I totally thought I could do live on LinkedIn, and apparently got to be approved. So I'm going to work on that. But it's just those things that you're just never going to learn unless you try. And I think as adults, we forget about that, because when we're kids, that's what you do. You try, you fall down, you make a fool out of yourself. It's no big deal. But when you're an adult, to make a fool out of yourself and be like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm just going to do it anyways. I'll let you know how it goes. There's not a lot of people that are willing to do that, because of the fear that someone is going to judge you. And let me be the first to tell you that people are judging you no matter what. I mean, people send mean, hurtful messages. It's just something that they're going to say, they're going to do. And you have to remember that that's on them, not on you. And to just, let that stuff roll off your back, because there's always going to be people that are not going to agree with you. They're going to think you look like a bridge troll. There's just so many people that are going to be, unhappy with themselves and project that onto you. So just one more thing to make sure that don't let that come into play. You just have to do it. You just have to go for it. And I'm happy to say that the websites are still up. They have not crashed. They are still here. We did get a weird error code. I don't know what that was about. I think it was, hopefully it was just a, one-off kind of a thing. But I think it's one of those things that we know that the website, and to be honest, everything that we've created, it didn't look 2 years ago how it looks today. And just keeping in mind that 2 years from now, it's going to look completely different. 5 years from now, it'll look completely different. You just have to be willing to let it evolve and change. And one of the things that I always mention to people is that you have to be willing to let it evolve. For some people, they are like, I have it in my little tiny hands, and I'm going to make sure that it never changes because I want to make sure that it looks like this forever and ever and ever. But it's just not. It's just not realistic. And I think the sooner that you can let that go and be like, I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to look different than what it does. I should show you guys one time what the website looked like from the beginning and what it looks like now, because I think it would be fun to go back and look at it 5 years from now and be like, holy smokes, that was horrible. It's kind of like when you do your first, YouTube video, you put it out there. it's usually garbage, you know, and you're like, oh God, I'm so terrified to put it out there, but you do, and then you just get better and better and better every single video. And I think that's important to remember too, because we see people on social media, we see their highlight reel, we see these amazingly famous people, and they are in year 7, year 10 of their business and being on social media. And here we are just starting out, and you're like, but I want to be at that level, and remembering that you're not. And it's okay, because you're going to get to their level too someday. It's just going to take some time. You just have to work through the kinks like today. But I also want to show you some new gadgets that I got, because if you hang around here at all, you know that I love some good gadgets. And I had high hopes of getting this set up for this StreamYard live stream. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. It's just, you know, it's going to be with my MacBook Pro camera, and it is what it is. But I have my fancy Canon DSLR camera. And I will tell you that I've tried 3 different cords to get this thingamajigger to work right. But essentially, I'm going to turn this camera into my webcam through my computer. Now, if you don't know, I tend to run computers into the ground. I have lots of old dinosaurs that I keep around because, you know, just make me feel good inside. I don't know why I do it, but they're old and awesome, and they work every time for me. It's just, oh, they're so good. So what I decided was I'm going to use this camera as my webcam, but then this is my 3rd attempt at a cord. So I got this one from Amazon, and I got this. So word on the street is that you need this in order to make this and this work. And no, I didn't figure it out on my own because I'm not that smart. So just know that if you don't know how to do something, reach out. There are people that will help you that are like, yeah, I want to do that too. Let me figure it out. Or they know somebody who's done it before. But in my unprofessional opinion, which I know nothing about technology, I usually know just enough to break it, or I always say I know just enough to be dangerous. But okay, so I think how this works, now for all the computer people, Wade, you included, who are probably cringing as I describe this. So again, oh, I should pull up like the disclaimer, like, knows just enough to be dangerous when it comes to technology. But what this is this little gizmo plugs into my MacBook Pro, and then this little port right here, the cord plugs into that and into my camera, and then I set my camera up on a little tripod, and essentially instead of using the camera right here on the top of my computer, it comes out of here. And the quality is supposed to be incredible, like so amazing. Like you'll be able to see like if I use moisturizer today or not. I mean, it's going to be pretty incredible. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take me to get this figured out. I'm probably going to have to call in some backup because I don't know how to do it again. Everybody says it's really easy. You just like plug it in and it'll do its own thing and then you're good to go. But that never seems to happen for me. So we'll give it a shot, see how it goes. Maybe on Friday, you'll see me like close up and personal. Maybe. I'm trying to think of what other things launch-wise that I could share with you that were like tidbits that I was like, okay, this is something important. Oh, I have one. Okay, so we use Infusionsoft. That is something that we've used for years. It probably has enough technology to launch the space shuttle. I do not use it for all that it is equipped, but I would love to. I would love to be able to do it myself. I, however, cannot because my brain doesn't work that way. But it's important that you test your Infusionsoft emails. Like you put your own email address in to make sure that they're working. Now, for some of you, you're probably like, "Duh, of course you do that." Well, you know, I thought I'd done all the right things and turns out I hadn't, but we fixed it. Again, something that you can fix later on. So I'm trying to think of, we lost the websites. We found them, by the way. We had to make some last minute changes. We had some Infusionsoft stuff. With the social media hiccups. Also, one thing too, I did not realize, again, because I thought that nobody was watching my stuff or paying attention to it, people responded like with comments, like, and I am always surprised when I put something out and people, for example, my dear friend Mike today, we were on a call together and he said, "Hey, I bought those binders you talked about." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I don't even remember talking about that." Well, on Insta stories, he had seen me talk about the Staples Better binders. They're incredible. If you don't have them or don't know about them, get yourself on Amazon and get you a Staples Better binder because they're awesome. Now you can order from Staples Direct too, but I like Amazon better. It's much faster. So he was talking about these binders that he bought, and he said they're amazing. I'm like, I know, I love them. I don't know why nobody knows about them. They're guaranteed. How crazy is that? There's a binder that's guaranteed. I mean, you got to buy it, right? Because I put so many things in binders. Like, that's kind of how my organizational skills work. So they're awesome. If you haven't checked them out, make sure you check them out. Mike will agree with me. They are awesome. I'm trying to think of what other things that we have used that I didn't think about, that I was like, oh, that would have been good to write down. I think that was it. Those were the 4 major ones. Because you have to keep in mind, too, that we kind of did a soft launch on the podcast. So the podcast was going up. I wasn't advertising it. I mean, I think I probably talked about it on my Instagram stories a couple times. But it wasn't. So if you didn't know it was there, you wouldn't know what to look for if you didn't know me personally and know that I was working on this project. And so we had 7 episodes that were up. So we've kind of figured out, there was definitely a lot of growing pains with that. With posting everything, it's just a learning curve. And again, it's something that you just have to do in order to figure it out. Because again, we thought we had this process planned out, but there's just some things you just don't know unless you're going for it. So I think that is the most important thing that I learned from this, is that there is no way that I would have been ever able to know what was going to happen or what was going to go wrong until we actually pushed it out. And there's no way that it would ever be perfect. I really wanted it to be perfect, but there really is no way that it ever would be. And so that's something that you have to keep in mind, whether you're posting a photo on social media, whether you're launching a brand, whatever it is that you're putting out into the world, you just have to put it out there, because you're going to get feedback from people. And for the most part, people are really nice. I mean, some people are super rude, and it's just because they're having a bad day, or, something is going on in their life that they're projecting onto you. And you just have to remember that you could go to their house and fill their socks full of crumbs, and that would be a very uncomfortable feeling. And I just tend to think those thoughts when somebody says something mean to them, that, I'm going to fill your socks full of crumbs. And it gets me through the day. Then I move on to the next person. Because, we tend to focus on the negative people, but you really have to focus on the positive people, because there are people out there that want you to win. They really are. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't, but you have to focus on the people that do want you to win, because they're there for you. They're supportive. They totally get you. They share your stuff. They are your cheerleader. They want you to be successful. So you have to focus on them versus the one negative Nelly that needs some crumbs in their socks. Let's be honest. So make sure that whatever you are working on, you set a date to push it out, whether you're ready or not, because believe me, you're never going to be ready. There's always last minute tweaks that you can make. You can always change things. That's just the way it is, but you got to push it out there. So keep that in mind. One more thing that I want to mention to you, if you have listened to any of my podcasts or you follow me on Instagram, my link is there below. The reason why I've left it up is because I don't know how to get my name off there. So you know what? You wouldn't have known that unless I told you. But again, I'll figure that out and I'll fix it for Friday. We are coming into the first full week of fourth quarter. So if you So listen, I don't know what just happened. I don't know if you guys could still hear me talking. Everything disappeared, like the whole thing shut down. I'm back. I hope it will continue on where I left off. So if you didn't hear any of that, planning 90 days or a year's worth of stuff in 90 days. The first day is October 1st, but I actually count this whole week since it's the first full week of fourth quarter, or the first is I don't know. You know what I mean. Anyways, so if you are interested more in that, definitely check out Instagram. I left it here. When I got kicked out, I tried to delete my name, but it didn't work. So I'm going to have to play around with that and figure out how to remove that. I don't know what I'm doing. We shall see. Anyways, so check out Instagram for any of the 90-day planning. I'm going to be talking about that quite a bit over the next couple days. If it's something that you're interested in, you've heard about, you want to learn more about, definitely follow me over there. I'm going to figure out how to take my name off. I don't know why my name is doubled up. So weird. Are you glad you tuned in for this to hear me mutter to myself about about how to work technology? It's quite comical, actually. So I will leave you there with my final thoughts being that whatever you are working on, it's time to get it out into the world. It's time to set a date, and no matter what it is, you're going to go for it. It's time. And if you need permission, I am here to say it's time. It's time to get it out into the world, no matter where it's at, what it looks like. It's never going to be perfect. Just put it out there, and you're going to tweak it as you go. So I will hope that you will come back on Friday so we can visit about what episode number 8 of the podcast. I hope that you'll come back. I promise I'll try to have a better handle on my technology and what I'm doing here, so you don't have to look at my Instagram link the whole broadcast. But we'll figure it out together, right? That's what we do. So thank you so much for being here, tuning in. I hope you had a great Monday, and I will see you on Friday. Bye, friends.